So I've been using iPadOS for a few weeks now, and I think I can reasonably say for most people out there, don't get a MacBook Pro, just get an iPad. Now in this video, I'm gonna be showing you my iPad Pro setup. And I know I made a video before, almost like a year ago, saying you don't need an iPad Pro, just get the default budget iPad. And I think that's still valid for most people out there. I think if you're in the market for a new iPad, you don't need a new computer, you're not gonna pick up a new MacBook, just get the budget-friendly iPad that's like 250 bucks right now. It's gonna do great for you. You're not gonna miss out on any really big features. But if you're someone in the market for a new MacBook Pro, and you don't do any crazy content creation, you don't do any high-end graphics, nothing like that, you just do basic web browsing, file management, maybe you work on some documents and you do a lot of media consumption. The new iPadOS that's gonna be on all the iPads from here on out, starting in like September, whenever it officially releases. Right now you can just get the public beta, and that's what I'm using in this video, is a game changer for a lot of people. With these new features, you can really skip out on buying an expensive MacBook and just get yourself an affordable iPad. You don't have to go for the Pro. These features are gonna be on all of the iPads from here on out. So you really can just pick up an iPad Air if you want to and just get the keyboard for that and save yourself a bunch of money. Now, first and foremost, the thing that I actually think is the most important new feature of iPadOS is full-on desktop web browsing. With this new desktop web browsing, you can really eliminate the need for a bunch of apps. I have personally not been using the YouTube app at all. I have just been going to youtube.com on Safari just because I prefer that full-on desktop experience, and you can actually get background play while watching YouTube on Safari. Unlike the YouTube app where you have to pay for YouTube Plus or whatever the hell it's called at this point. You don't have to waste space on a bunch of random miscellaneous apps that you don't really need. Do you really need that one app for your internet provider to just pay your bill a month? No, you can just go to the website. You can save whatever amount of megabytes that app would be. So that's why I think full-on desktop web browsing is actually one of the biggest benefits of the new iPadOS. I think that's just gonna be a game changer. Now, the next most important new feature of iPadOS is of course gonna be their new actual file management system. You can finally plug in thumb drives, portable SSDs, hard drives, whatever you have, you can finally plug it into your iPad and actually access the files and transfer them between your iPad and your external drive. So now people can actually go out and get the cheaper iPads, the lower storage drive iPads, and just transfer files in between their thumb drives, wherever it is. And I know not everybody's a content creator. I know people get annoyed that every YouTube review is about, oh, this is great for content creators. But either way, if you're a content creator that does a lot of illustration, that does a lot of photography, some video, and even some coding, if you're doing some coding out there, the iPad actually has some great apps that actually can help you. Now, one of the main benefits of using a laptop or desktop or an actual PC is that you have mouse input, and mouse input still to this day beats just touch input no matter what you do. It's way more accurate. And now with iPadOS, they actually added mouse input. You can actually use a mouse with your iPad. And with public beta too, they actually added a bunch of new features for the mouse input, so you can actually customize your cursor. You can make it much smaller than it was in the first public beta. It was really huge in the first public beta. Definitely a huge benefit to this, and that's another reason why this can absolutely replace a traditional computer. But I will say the mouse input isn't perfect. It's not exactly one-to-one with a traditional computer, but Apple is making it progressively better. And lastly, multitasking has been hugely revamped. You can finally have multiple copies of the same application open at the same time. I know you were previously able to do that with Safari. You could have two windows of Safari open side by side, but now you can do that with pretty much any app that wants to support it. Currently, it's just the Apple-made apps because iPadOS is not fully released yet, but once it's fully released, you're gonna see a lot of third-party developers adding that feature on. Right now, you can actually have 3 of the same application open at the same time. You can have 2 in split view and 1 in hover over, and that is amazing. And you can even have the same app open in different windows. You can switch between these pretty easily. Now, beyond the things I've talked to you about today, there's of course other improvements, like improvements to the Apple Pencil, improvements to gestures, making copy and paste way easier, a bunch of other things that I didn't go over today, but I was just covering the things that I think that make the iPad way closer to your desktop class computers out there, and why it's a great replacement as soon as this software fully releases later on. But before I go, I know a bunch of people are gonna say, oh, the iPad Pro is so expensive. With the same amount of money, I could just buy the new 2019 MacBook Pro 13-inch. Yes, if you go out and you buy all the accessories for iPad Pro and all these extra things, of course, the total is gonna reach closer to that full-on MacBook Pro. But if you go with an iPad Air and you get the older generation keyboard, or if you just get your own keyboard separate, you don't buy Apple's keyboard and you still get the iPad Pro. So it's just really how you decide to spend the money and how do you accessorize in the end. But anyway, if this video helped you out, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think switching to iPad is a smarter idea? Is it more worth it? Or do you think you should still go and pick up a MacBook Pro or any other Windows PC out there that's huge popular now? I'm not a Windows user anymore, so I don't know. And if you really liked the video, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. But as always, my name is Joshua Munoz. Stay sexy, and I'll see you sometime.